Send it to me, no?
Resending. Yeah.
We had Saturday, you had Sunday. Nobody messaged me. Okay, anyways, let's carry on. Today I want to take up phrase management. So what is a phrase, guys? If you remember in our specification management, where did you see the phrases?
In property tree.
Yeah, in the value assignment types, in order to assign the value to our specification, we were using phrases. In most of the places, I cannot say everywhere, but in most of the places, we use phrases to assign the value. Right? For example, you can take any example, doesn't matter. And when you go to any of these value assignment types, now let's say I want to assign some value to this accidental release measure, and in personal precautions, I want to assign the data. So to do that, what do we need to do? I will double click on personal precautions. Then here we have a characteristic called advice. Okay, I will go to the drop down button under advice and I will get a long list of available phrases. So these are called as phrases, each one of them. It can either be a sentence like this, or it can be a single word like evaporate. Okay, it could be any of these things. A phrase actually does not always mean a sentence. It can even be a single word, or it can even be a symbol. Because see, here in physical chemical properties, if you go, we have here accuracy, no? So see, even this accuracy, that is less than or equal to, greater than, all these are not words. These are not sentences. Though they are symbols, but still they are called as phrases. Phrases means it is something that will give you, it is kind of a description, or it is kind of a symbol or some information. Rather, I can say that phrase is like a information. So not necessary that it has to be a word, it can also be some measurement unit, for example, or it can be even a symbol like this. All these are called as phrases. And we use phrases, as you know, to assign the data to our specification. Let it be first aid measures or firefighting measures or accidental release measures, whatever be the value assignment type, we can use the phrases to assign the data. But the question arises, what if we don't find one of the phrases that we want to use? For example, here, these are the available phrases, right? All these are phrases. But the data that I want to assign here for my advice under personal precautions, I don't have the phrase which I want to use. For example, keep at a safe distance. Let's say I want to assign the data here called keep at a safe distance. I hope I don't have that phrase here. Let me check out. No, we don't have. We don't have that phrase. Keep away at a safe distance. Let's say that is the phrase I want to assign, but I don't have it. So what should I do? Yeah, we have some other like keep people away from and upwind of spill or leak. That is fine, but I want to use a phrase called keep away at a safe distance. But I don't have that option. So what you need to do is you have to create that one single phrase that you want to use in your specification. Okay, you need to add it here in this list and then you have to assign it in your specification. So whenever you don't have that particular data or phrase that you want to use, the option is you need to create. So in the phrase management, that is what we are going to learn. We are going to learn how to create the phrases, how those phrases we can assign here in the specification, and a lot of other things are also there that we have to learn. It's not only phrase. In the phrase management, there are other things also that you have to learn. For example, in the phrase management, apart from phrase, we have phrase library. We should know what is a phrase group and what is a phrase set. But ultimately, when you are assigning the data, that you can see upfront is a phrase. But behind that phrase, there are all these other data objects. We have a phrase library, phrase group, and phrase set. Finally, we have this phrase. Okay, so first let's try to understand each of these data objects in the phrase management. Then later we'll see how we can create all these data objects and how to create a custom phrase. Custom phrase means in the already available phrases, if you want to add one more data, we have to create a custom phrase. But otherwise, you can create one whole new library. Under that library, you can create a lot of phrase groups and then you can create the phrases. That is also possible. But first, we have to start understanding what are these each data object. So what is a phrase library? As you can see, I have already written the definitions for each of these data objects. There are 4 different data objects in phrase management. First one is called as a phrase library. So what is a phrase library? The definition wise, it says like this. A phrase library defines phrase assignment and origin. This is the actual definition. But if I ask you, please explain, it will be difficult for you. Okay, let's try that. Now you see, I have already given a definition here. A phrase library defines phrase assignment and origin. What does it mean?
It's like a library means
Hmm.
if we consider the example of books,
Hmm.
there are books
Hmm.
library, na?
Hmm.
So in that there are different
Hmm.
types of books.
Hmm.
So same like we can consider the here phrase library
Okay.
means whatever pages.
Hmm. Whatever the phrases we have in the SAP or at least in the SAP EHS module, those phrases are, each phrase is like a book. Okay. Now that is a good example when we go to a public library. In a public library, what do you expect? There will be a whole lot of books, thousands of books. Like you, if you come to Bangalore Central Library, you will find thousands of books are there in our library. Okay, or you go to any other library, even in some big universities, you will find lot of books will be there, thousands of books in a library. Similarly, in a phrase library, you will find thousands of phrases, sometimes 5,000 phrases, sometimes 30,000 phrases, sometimes 40,000 phrases. A phrase library is just like a public library where you have a collection of books, a large collection of books you can find in a library, including your magazines, including the mathematics books, including art and literature, including science, okay, chemistry, physics, all separate. All the kind of books you can find in a library. It's not just one only literature books, not like that. In a library, various kinds of books you can find. Similarly, when you open a phrase library in SAP, you can find different types of phrases which may belong to different subjects or which may belong to different topic. Like see here, in the specification itself, if you go, if I expand this first aid measures, right? When I expand first aid measures, whatever phrases you find here, no, all are related to first aid. All separately also you can check under inhalation. Whatever the phrases you are finding, they are all related to your inhalation first aid instructions. All this. Or when you go to first aid skin, Even under that, whatever phrases you find, they are all related to first aid related instructions. All these are first aid instructions. So like that, you go to any of these value assignment types in your first aid measures, all of them belong to a particular type or a particular topic, first aid measures topic. Or if you go to firefighting measures, you will find only phrases which are related to firefighting measures. So now combine, there are 16 sections here in this SDS property tree. There are 16 sections. If you open each of them, you will find some related phrases. Now put them all together. How many do you think will be there? Easily they will be more than 1,000. More than 1,000 phrases will be there. So this entire collection of phrases, what you can do, you can create one library, and in that library you can dump all of these phrases. Just like books. So that large collection of phrases is called as a library, phrase library. This definition will not give you a much idea. This is a standard definition. But if I have to tell in my own words, a phrase library is a large collection of phrases. Sometimes 2,000, sometimes 5,000, sometimes 10,000. It depends how many phrases you want to use. You can create so many and you can put it in a library. That's a phrase library. Let me show you here first. I'll just show you how this library looks like and how to access the library. So to access phrase library, we use SPRO transaction code. Go to reference IMG, then go to EHS, expand EHS, then go to basic data and tools, and under basic data and tools you can see there is one option called phrase management. When you expand that phrase management, inside the phrase management you can see there are some options like phrase libraries and phrase groups, specify language selection and all, but mainly we go here to specify phrase libraries. So if I click on execute, it will show me all the phrase libraries which are there in that particular section. So all these are each individual phrase libraries. We have CED, we have customer phrase library, we have EHS library, we have EHS sample phrases library, okay, IUCL, permit to work library. Somebody has created, maybe myself. You can create your own library also, no problem. But anyways, all these are the phrase libraries. Individually you can see them. All these are phrase libraries. Now here if you select anyone, let's say I want to see this library, customer phrase library. So what I can do is I can double click on that and I can see what is the technical name given to that library, what is the description, okay, and I can see that they have given the name, distributor name as customer. This is the publication date. Publication date means when it was created. And then you also have a version number for that library. Then you have the object name. These are some technical data objects. We have to use them as it is. So this is one library, customer phrase library. Like that, there are how many libraries? If you see below, there are 21 phrase libraries. Each one of them will contain a different set of data. Okay, each one of them will contain different set of data. Like for example, you can see here chemical safety phrase library. Maybe this also I had created. So this library will contain phrases related to chemical safety. Okay, this particular phrase library, permit to work, this library will contain phrases related to permit to work or work permit. Or similarly, if you go to RCS library, you will find phrases related to product compliance. So each library will have a definite set of phrases and they may belong to a particular topic for which you want to use the library. These are the phrase libraries. And under each one of them, you can find something called as a phrase group. When you go to a phrase library, inside the phrase library, there will be a number of phrase groups. So the next question is, what is a phrase group? Next, we have to know what is a phrase group. And you can see the definition I have already written. Phrase group means it is a number of phrases contained in a phrase library grouped according to some logical criteria. Phrase group means it is a number of phrases contained in a phrase library grouped according to logical criteria. Now what does it mean? It means, see, when you create thousands of phrases in a library, you can actually group them together according to some common topic or common terminology. For example, just take it as an example. You will create a library called MSDS. Okay? That phrase library name is MSDS. Under that MSDS library, let's say there are 1000 phrases. Those 1000 phrases are in total, they are like one big collection of phrases. But again, what you can do, out of those 1000 phrases, you can group individually. Like you can collect 200 phrases and you can call one phrase group, let's say firefighting measures. You will again collect or group together another 200 phrases and you will call that group as a first aid measures phrase group. You will collect another 200 phrases and you will call it as physical and chemical properties phrase group. So your total number of phrases in that library, MSDS library, is 1000. But again, what I am doing, I am again grouping them together and I am giving different names to those groups. Okay, let me give a very simple example. Let's say you start a company tomorrow. Some startup IT company you will start. And in your company, there are, let's say, total 100 employees are there. Okay, total number of employees are 100. Out of those 100 employees, do you think everybody will do same kind of work? If not, how are you going to group your employees according to what you will group them?
Based on the work nature.
Okay, how, like what, for example?
If we consider the example of SAP,
Hmm,
so HR means some people
hmm,
which is working on HR
hmm,
SCM module, and some people who is working on
hmm,
functional side, some people
hmm,
working on technical side. Or if we go deep dive, then we can separate the module wise:
hmm,
MMSD, PP,
hmm.
ABAP basis, like that.
No, take your company only as an example. Take your company itself. In your company, it's a proper company, right? They have a structure, they have registration. Your company is a proper company. What are the different group of employees that will be working in your company?
And the HR team, finance team,
Yeah, exactly.
technical team.
Legal
Exactly.
team.
Yeah, there will be a compliance and legal team separately. There will be a sales team if at all you are selling some product. There will be a production team if you are manufacturing some product. You will have a finance team. You will have a procurement team. You will have a admin team, a HR team, marketing
IT
team,
infra.
yeah, quality assurance team. But they are all your employees, no? They are all your employees. But depending on what kind of job they are doing, you have to categorize them or put them into different departments. So just compare that with your phrase group. HR department can be one phrase group. Admin department can be one phrase group. IT department can be one phrase group. But they all belong to what? One phrase library. They belong to one company. But within that company, they are divided depending on the type of job they are doing. All your accountants, all your financial advisors and all will be put in finance team. Same way, here in the phrase group, all the phrases related to first aid measures will be put into a separate phrase group. All your firefighting measures, phrases will be put into another phrase group. So like that we have to segregate or categorize the total number of phrases. You are getting my point? So like that is how it is structured. First you have the library equivalent to a company. Under that library you have a number of phrase groups equivalent to different departments in a company. So let's see how this phrase group looks like and how many phrase groups will be there. Let's go to phrase groups. Okay, let me take this example. We have a customer phrase library. Okay, this is a library name. Under that, I'm sure there are many phrase groups. In order to see those phrase groups, I have to first select the phrase library, and on the left hand side you can see there is one option called phrase group. So when I double click on that, okay, I will be taken inside that phrase library called customer phrase library, and here I can see that we have a phrase group called reference, then we have a phrase group called 1, phrase group 2, phrase group 3, like that there are multiple phrase groups. Total how many phrase groups are here in this library?
78.
78 phrase groups are there. So if you observe below, there are total 78 phrase groups. And each phrase group will have a number of phrases. So see here, like I told you before, we have a phrase group called 04, and the description of this phrase group is first aid measures. So what kind of phrases will be there inside this?
Related to first aid measures.
Related to first aid measures, all the phrases related to first aid measures will be put under this phrase group. Right? That is why in the definition what they are saying, a number of phrases contained in a phrase library which are grouped according to a logical criteria. Logical criteria means depending on what topic they belong to or what is the common criteria, on that basis you have to put all those phrases in one group. So we are segregating, they are all mixed up, a lot of phrases, but we are segregating according to some common property. That is called as a phrase group. Right? Clear? Now after that we have a third data object called as phrase set. If you observe here, we have another data object called as phrase set. So what is a phrase set? This is where it will be little confusing. If you read the definition here, they are saying a grouping of phrases, a grouping of phrases for a purpose. A grouping of phrases for a purpose is called phrase set. A grouping of phrases for a purpose is called phrase set. But is it not same like your phrase group? See, here also I am saying it is a group of phrases. Here also they have given it is a group of phrases. Then how is the phrase set different from a phrase group?
Phrase set is temporary.
I have written here temporary. Temporary means what?
Actually, grouping of phrases, no, for same phrase can be under different group.
No, it cannot be. It cannot be. Will you put firefighting phrase into a first aid measures phrase group? Will you put like that?
Yes.
No, you will not put. Otherwise, what is the use of segregating according to some logical criteria? There is no logic there. If I combine first aid measures and firefighting measures, if I combine the phrases, then where is the logic in that? Or if phrase group and phrase set both are same, then why do we treat them separately? This is where it is little tricky. Okay, this is where you have to apply some logic. See, I told you phrase group is a part of your phrase library, right? You have first phrase library like MSDS. Inside that library, you have 78 or 72 phrase groups inside that library. But your phrase set is not like that. Phrase set is actually created independently. It is an independent data object. It has nothing to do with the library. It is not connected with your phrase group. You can create a phrase set completely independent. Okay, again take the example of your company I told you. So your company is a phrase library, and what is a phrase group in that company?
Departments.
Different departments in that company are phrase groups. Okay, now I will give you one example for phrase set. What happens in that company? I know there are different departments. Let's say uh, the company MD or CEO or anybody at the top management level, they decide that they will create groups of emergency response team. They want to create a emergency response team, ERT. I don't know if you have in your companies or not, but normally, even in banks also I have seen lot of banks also have ERT team members. Wherever they sit, no, on top of the desk it will be written ERT. So who are these people? ERT means emergency response team. If they are working from a big building, if there is any fire incident occurring, these people will get into action and they will try to evacuate all the people from that building. If possible, they will try to do firefighting to some extent. Okay, if some people are injured, they will try to evacuate them, provide them first aid treatment. That is the job of a ERT team. Okay, let's say in your company we have HR department, finance, admin, everybody are there. All these are different department people. But what I'll do, I will choose each person from every department and I will tell them, okay boss, from now on you will be a ERT team member. Okay, you will be a ERT team member. If there are 10 different departments, I'm going to collect each person from every department and the ERT team will be comprising of 10 people. That includes firefighting members, that includes first aid providing members. It may include also people who will be there to help out. So that one entire team is called as a ERT team. But that is not their full-time job, no? What is their full-time job? Their full-time job is related to the department. If it is a HR, the full-time job is to work as a HR. Or if some accountant is being put into the ERT team, his full-time job is not firefighting or not helping people. His full-time job is to work as an accountant. But whenever time comes, this all people will come together and they will act like a one team and they will help out people during the emergency. Right? So this is an example, a perfect example I can give you for a phrase set. What happens in a phrase set? In a phrase set, we are going to collect some phrases for a temporary application. Okay, and later when it is not required, I can remove those phrases. Just like in the ERT team, let's say I have a lot of work, I cannot concentrate being a ERT team member, so I will raise my hand and say, but sorry, I cannot become a ERT team member. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have to travel a lot. So please, in my place, take somebody else. Like that, if I tell them, definitely they will relieve me and somebody else will become a team member. So what is happening here? These team members, no, they are not permanent. They will keep on changing. If you are not interested, you will say, no, I don't want to be a ERT member. Please let me go. Then no problem, they will leave you. Another person, if he is interested, he may come and join and he will be a member in that ERT. So because this job is not permanent job, their responsibility is something else. But this is an additional responsibility they are taking up. Right? So something similar happens in a phrase set. In a phrase set also what happens? You are going to create a group just like a phrase group. But this phrase set is not permanent. You can remove the phrases, you can completely delete that phrase set, all that is possible. But in a phrase group you cannot do that. Because you see, if you are creating phrases for first aid measures, all those phrases should be present. I cannot delete some of them. Right? That is why I have written here that phrase set is a grouping of phrases for a particular purpose. Or on a temporary basis, I am going to create a phrase set. So how do you see the phrase set? Where should I go to see the phrase set? I told you it is not part of your phrase library. It is not part of your phrase group also. This is an independent data object. So how to access this phrase set? To access phrase sets, there is one transaction code we can use. That transaction code is CG1B. Transaction code CG1B will take you to the phrase set. You see here, phrase set. From this screen, you can either search any existing phrase set. If you know the name, you can search. Or if you don't know, or if you want to create a new phrase set, that is also possible. You can create a new phrase set. But let's do one thing. Let's actually search some phrase set and we'll see what data it contains. Okay. So how to find the phrase set? For example, I am here in my specification workbench, right? And here I want to search, like here for first aid skin, I want to search what is the phrase set name. All these are phrases. So where is the phrase set name here? Can you recognize?
Please go down.
Okay.
Fruits. Fruits is the
Maybe having some different number range.
No, it will not be here. If you are trying to find here in these places, it's not here. Okay. I'll tell you where it is. The phrase set is present here on top. You see this? Beside advice, whatever is written in the brackets, no, that is your phrase set. For example, here SAP EHS 1015004 advice. This is your phrase set. So if I just copy and if I try to search, I will get that. Okay, let me show you. Just remember what is that. It is very lengthy. SAP underscore EHS underscore. What was it? 1014.
1015.
1015. Okay.
Advice. I think.
Okay, let me check again. 1015004 advice. (004) underscore advice. Okay, I told you it is a phrase set. So if I enter that name and if I try to search the data, I am sure it will show some data. So now press enter. Okay, this is your phrase set. It was created in 2002 by this employee, by this SAP user. This is the phrase set name. Under that phrase set, what are the phrases available? If you want to see, you can click here on phrases and see it will show all the phrases which are present under that phrase set. Because this phrase set is related to first aid skin, whatever phrases you are seeing, no, all these phrases belong to the first aid measures of skin related first aid measures. Right, there are, I think, total 75 phrases. Just for first aid skin, there are 75 phrases. So this is one phrase set. In this phrase set contains these different phrases which are connected with this phrase set. Again, similarly, if you go to, okay, let me check here. First aid ingestion. There is another value assignment type called as first aid ingestion. So now if I go to this advice, I have here SAP EHS 1015005 advice. Okay, so you can check that as well. It is a first aid ingestion. (005) advice. So if I just enter that number here, 005, everything else is same. And now if I search and double click on, I will select and go to phrases. See, all these phrases that you see, they are all related to your ingestion. All these phrases are related to ingestion. Like that you can search. You can search, you can create a phrase set, all that can be done by using this transaction code CG1B. Okay, this is a phrase set. Under that phrase set, we have temporarily gathered some phrases. And finally, I have already told you what is a phrase. In generally, you can define a phrase like this. Phrase is a standardized text. Phrase is a standardized text. It can even be a symbol, doesn't matter. Not only a standardized text, it can be even symbols or any other form of data. It can even be numbers if you want. Okay guys, clear? So we have phrase library, phrase group, phrase set and phrases. These are the 4 data objects in phrase management. Now remember one thing, you have the phrase library. Inside the phrase library, you have a number of phrase groups. Under each phrase group, you will have a number of phrases. So these 3 are connected with each other. Library, phrase group and phrase are connected with each other. But the only independent data object I told you, that is phrase set, it is independent of library, phrase group, and it is not part of this family. Right? So if you want to see phrases, that is also possible. You can go to transaction code CG12. If you go to transaction code CG12, that will take you to the initial screen of phrases. Okay. Now, I just want to show you how many phrases are there in the customer phrase library. Just total number of phrases. So, the library name is CUST. Now, if I press enter, it will take some time, but there are lot of phrases in that. How many are there? 33,623 phrases to be precise in one library. And if I now click yes, it will display all those phrases. All 33,600 phrases it is going to display. Or you can do one more thing. Instead of displaying all the phrases present in that library, I can select one particular phrase group. Like for example, firefighting measures. And now if I press enter, there are how many phrases? 122 phrases created for firefighting measures. Now I can click on continue, and these all phrases that you see here on the right hand side, they are all related to firefighting. Okay, so first you have a library. Under that library you have a, see, this is your library. Under that library you have a phrase group. Under that phrase group you have a number of phrases. So they are all related to each other. These 3 data objects are related to each other. But do you see any phrase set here? We don't have any phrase set name here because it's an independent data object, not part of your library, not part of your phrase group. So it's completely
There is
different.
one below restricted
Sir,
criteria
how
for
to find this phrase set here?
Hmm?
How to find the phrase set here, sir?
Where?
Here in this.
Here it is little difficult. Because see, phrase key is not your phrase set, phrase group also not. You can do one thing. You can select any one phrase, and above you can see it is showing phrase set. No, try to go to that.
Yes.
If you go to
Okay.
that, here you will find, yeah, this is the phrase set.
Okay.
But in a way, what I'm trying to say is they are not part of your library or phrase group. It's a completely independent data object. And why they have given phrase set here? It is because they have given so that you can even search some phrases using the phrase set name. That is why they have given. If you know any phrase set name, you can enter that here and you can search the phrases. Very simple. So just think about this library, phrase group and phrases as a family. You have the grandfather, you have the father and the son. They are all because related to each other. And first you have the grandfather, after that you have the father, then you have the son. They are all three people related. Library, phrase group and phrase. But this phrase set is there, no, it is like a family member, not a direct relative, just a family member or family friend. He is an outsider, right? So phrase set is something that is independent of all these three different data objects. Clear, guys? Understood? So in a phrase management, there are four different data objects: phrase library, phrase group, phrase set, and phrases. Now, what are the, let us see at the application of phrases. Where and all can you use in EHS applications? Where and all you can use the phrases? So where do you use phrases in EHS? In SAP, I mean, SAP EHS.
Assign it to in the property tree
To
to
assign
value
it,
assignment.
okay, to, I can say that we use phrases. Phrases are used in specification management. Okay, like that I can say. Phrases are used in
Also,
specification management.
uh,
Yeah.
also we saw in occupational health and safety where
Hmm.
also
Hmm.
this is use of this means like if consider the example of injury illness log,
Hmm.
there this phrase has used.
In injury illness log, yeah, we have. For example, types of injuries we saw, no? Type of injuries. Weather cut,
Yeah, where we
abrasion,
have given the
laceration.
first aid measures in that
Yes,
this part
exactly.
have used.
See, phrases don't get confused with your customized data. In customization under SPRO, what we did, we created uh, log entry types. Log entry types are not your phrases. These are only selections, different selections that we can do. But phrases are something, they are the actual data. So don't get confused here. See, there are two types. Let me go to SPRO, or I'll do one thing. Let's go to, some of you have not attended occupational health, but still, let me just show you. CBIH
Yes.
72. CBIH 72 is used to create a injury illness log. Okay. Now, when I open any one injury illness log, there are some phrases even in that. Let's take this example. Okay. If I go to injuries, under injuries, you see here type of injury. Yeah. All these are nothing but phrases only. Okay, all these are again nothing but phrases. So what type of injury it is, you can create one phrase for each type of injury and you can add it here. Yeah, this is also one of the application of phrases. Phrases are also used to assign data in your injury illness log or in occupational health, you can say. You can use phrases to assign data in the occupational health. If you take that example, then we use phrases even in the incident accident log. Right? Even in the incident accident log, they use the phrases. But if you read the SAP material, in SAP material, they don't tell occupational health and all. They will tell you there are three application of phrases. One is used in specification management. Second use is phrases are used to output data in dangerous goods documents. Okay. This is also used in dangerous goods management topic. Phrases are used to assign output data, means printing the data. Phrases are used to print the data on dangerous goods documents. There is also a third application. Phrases are used to output data to output data on labels. Phrases are also used to output the data on labels. So we have GLM, Global Label Management, where we are going to study about the labels. Okay, what are the different types of labels we have, what data they contain, we are going to study that. But here, speaking of applications of phrases, phrases can also be used to output the data or print the data on the label. That is also one of the application. Right? Generally speaking, if you read the material in SAP, they say that these are the three application of phrases. But naturally, like you already told, we can use phrases even in our injury illness log, or I can say generally in the occupational health. We can also use the phrases in our industrial hygiene and safety, and also we can use phrases in our waste management. There are a lot of uses, but to be more specific, they are saying phrases are used in specification management to print the data on dangerous goods documents and to print the data on labels. This is as per SAP. They are saying like that. But otherwise, I will show you one more example. See, this is CBIH02 is a part of your industrial hygiene and safety. Okay. So if I open any one work area here, there will be phrases even in this place. Okay, let's say I go to industrial hygiene and safety. Okay, you see this, there is some data here called IHS data or industrial hygiene and safety data. Now if I click here, again I will find a lot of phrases. See, all these phrases are part of your industrial hygiene. So there are many applications, but generally speaking, if they ask you, you can just tell these three, that is enough. Okay, applications of phrases. Next, what are the transaction codes that are applicable?
CG12, CG1B,
and SPR. Okay, so for example, phrase library, if you want to create, like I have shown you, we have to go to SPRO. It's a customizing activity, and you can create a phrase library. Okay, but by the way, I wanted to show you about the other thing. Just give me a second. Under SPRO also, we create some data, but that is not phrase. Like for example, let me go to SPRO again. And where is that? Occupational health, injury illness log, and in injury illness log we have specify injury or illness log entry type. What do you think? These are also phrases. See, animal bite, first aid without referral, first aid at accident without referral, first aid at accident with referral, medication administered, treatment of old injuries. Do you think even this is phrase? These are not phrases.
Yes, sir.
No, they are not phrases. If it is a phrase, then it should be connected with a library, or it should be coming under a particular phrase group. But they are independent data objects or sentences which we have created. They are not your phrases. Please keep that
So
in mind.
phrase set. Phrase set.
Not even phrase set. This is your master data.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, we call it as master data. If you want to call anything as phrase, that should be mapped with a phrase library. It should be connected with a phrase library, and it should be connected with a phrase group. But can you tell me to which phrase library it belongs? Or to which phrase group they belong? No, there is no connection. There is no connection of first aid without referral with either your library or the phrase group. These are all just independent sentences. They are not phrases. So that is why I wanted to show you this. Okay, but if you want to create any phrase library, yeah.
Sir, I have one doubt here. Miss, as I saw in our system, only cust phrase library they have
Hmm.
used.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, if you can we use multiple phrase library or just miss only we can use only one phrase library?
No, you can use multiple phrase libraries. It is possible.
Hmm. If we
If at
go
all.
in
Hmm.
SPRO, means where I think we have only one option. There is a miss where active library column where I think we can select only one.
Yeah, we can select only one. But if you want to use some other library, you have to go and activate that. So for example, here we have many libraries. Okay, I think in another screen I have opened. Yeah, here for example. See, all these are different phrase libraries, right? But at a time you can use
Can
only
you
one
select
library.
one more?
You cannot
Okay,
select. This
at a
is a
time
radio
only.
button. Yeah, at a time you can only use one
Hmm.
library. If you are using a customer phrase library, that will be activated once. If at all you want to use some other library, you have to go and select that. Let's say product compliance, you have to select that library and save the data. So now this library will
Okay.
be active. Multiple libraries you cannot use simultaneously. That's not possible.
Okay. So, if we are going to set up any EHS system, so in that
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
whatever we are selecting in the starting, that
Hmm.
will be in means at the means that will be the permanent, right? If we cannot change after that, means if we load the data and
Huh.
we run something like
Yeah, that
SAP
will be,
master
that is
data
why
and
we
all.
call it as master data. That is why we call it as master data, because it is not going to change. Like for example, if you are only using customer phrase library, let's say, this is your master data. Apart from that, you will not be using any of the other libraries. First of all, there will not be any, but mostly you will not be using it. So your master data will be your customer phrase library.
Okay.
But the requirement of the client will keep changing. You cannot say permanently they will only use customer phrase library. Who knows? Tomorrow they may say we want to use Euclid phrase library. So what will you do? You have to create it for them. Anyways, data they will give. They will say that please create a new phrase library for us. The name of the library will be this. The name of the phrase groups will be this. And these are the phrases you have to create. Every data will be given to you. See, that is one good part for a SAP consultant. You don't have to think and create some new data. Every data will be given by the client. Your responsibility is only copy the data, create it in the SAP system and make it active. So if at all they want to use this new library called Euclid phrase library, they will give you all this information. What is the library name? What you should give the description. Under that library, how many phrase groups are going to be there? What will be the name of those phrase groups? Everything they will be giving you. So don't think that it will be fixed forever. Maybe for some time, but later on, depending on the requirement, they may ask you to create a new library. You have to create.
If certain library is active, that what does that mean? Whether we when we click on some library button, then certain phrases will be shown like that.
No, see, when this library is active, you cannot create a new library inside the customer phrase library. Let's say you want to create a new phrase, but you will be only able to create a new phrase inside this library. You cannot create and add a new phrase under the customer phrase library. If you want to do that, please go back to this radio button, select customer phrase library as active library, save the data. Now you can create new phrases under this library. That is the meaning.
And And if I have already used some phrases from the customer phrase library and then I go and change it to product compliance, then what will happen to the old phrases that I have already used?
It will be there. They won't go anywhere. See, like I told you, active library is only used to create new phrases. So, in whichever library you want to create a new phrase, you have to make that library as an active library. So now currently, this is the library which is
Once
active.
creation done, can we change that
What?
if we want to change? Suppose if you wanted to create one phrase under this
Hmm.
first phrase library,
Okay.
and later again we wanted to change or and create new ones again.
Hmm.
This EHS library means like below that.
Same phrase
Is
you
this
want to
possible?
create. Same phrase you want to create in customer phrase library and in EHS library. Is that what you are asking?
No, maybe
No.
it's maybe different.
You can create, possible. But
Hmm.
yeah, like when you create a phrase here, fine, you can save that phrase. Later, you want to go to this library and here also you want to create a new phrase. So what I should do? Directly I cannot go and create the phrase. It will say that it is the library is not active. So you have to again come back, make this library active, then you have to go and create a phrase. Wherever you are planning to create new data, new phrases, that library should be active at that time. It is like a switch. Whichever switch is on, only there you can create the new phrase. Currently, this is the active library. This is where you can create the new phrases. You cannot create here and all. Not possible.
So, sir, by activating this, we can create new description for the phrase library and new phrases also under that.
Yeah.
No, sir?
Yeah. Phrase description. See, library description you can change anytime. No need to be active. You can change it anytime. But creating phrases is only possible when you are making that library as
Active.
active library.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise,
And
what will
under
happen?
which
No.
scenario?
Hmm.
Under which scenario do we get to use these phrases?
Under which scenario means?
When do we get to use the phrases in from the phrase library?
When you are, that is what I told you. There are three application of phrases. When you are creating specifications, there you will be assigning the data in the form of phrases. When you are going to print any dangerous good document, there you can use the phrases. And I just now I have shown you in the injury illness log also, you can use phrases. These are the applications where
For
and all we can use the phrases.
Okay, for example, I'm generating a specification. So if I am putting chemical properties, so in that I can use the phrase to add the text like that. Is it like that?
Sorry, I didn't get you, Omkar.
If I am trying to add some chemical properties of a specification,
Hmm.
so in that case, do I get to use this node, this phrase library?
It depends. See, when you are creating a specification there, which library you are using, it depends on that. You cannot control from here. You are creating a specification, no, there, whichever phrase library is currently being used, only that data you can use.